You're sitting in a concert hall, surrounded by fellow listeners. The ceilings go miles and miles above your head. The lights dim, and the audience goes quiet. A single note is played by one member of the orchestra. The sound grows, and everyone is playing that note, and other notes. It goes quiet again, and the conductor walks on stage as everyone claps and cheers. After a short period of silence, the music begins. What just happened? Was that a warm-up or an introduction song? It was actually the orchestra tuning. Although all instruments tune differently, the strings have quite a unique way of tuning metal strings on a wooden box. The strings being the violin, the viola, the cello, and the upright bass. If even one member of the orchestra is slightly out of tune, the music won't sound the same. Today I will demonstrate how to tune the 4 strings on a violin. This will be beneficial for when you attend a live classical concert and that you will be able to understand and connect with the musicians better on stage. Also, if you happen to have children in the future who would like to pick up a musical instrument as well, they might choose the violin. It is very important that parents can partake in their children's musical journey. I have been playing the violin for 7 years, requiring me to tune daily, at least once daily, for my violin. I have also been teaching violin for the past few years and have had to teach my students between ages 7 and 18 to tune their instruments as well. We will begin by sharpening our knowledge on the history of violin strings, learn how to tune our ears, and string together some helpful tips for using the 2 types of tuners. First, it is very important that we learn what types of strings we are tuning with. Today, we use metal strings on our violin, which I currently use as well. But years and years ago, they actually used what was called gut strings. Yes, actual intestines of animals to make the strings of the violin. These animals could be goats, cattle, or sheep guts. But today, my violin has its 4 strings made out of metal strings. The 4 strings on the violin are the G string, the D string, the A string, and the E string. The strings are connected by the 2 types of tuners, going from the tailpiece with the fine tuners down here, held by immense pressure with the bridge, and all the way up to the peg box with the 2nd type of tuner called the pegs. Right now, my violin is in tune. It is tuned in intervals of 5. Which make it resonate very well to know that it's in tune. With my years of experience, I also simply know that it's in tune because my ears have adjusted to the pitch. Since our ears aren't entirely adjusted to the strings of the violin yet, I also have next to me a drone which will play the correct notes for when we tune the violin, and I give some extra tips. So if I play in tune, and if I just slightly adjust the pegs, the violin will sound different. And now you can tell the violin is not in tune. To tune the violin, the orchestra starts with the A string that is played by the oboe in the orchestra. To see if the A is in tune, I can play it on here. And I know that the A is slightly flat. Since the A is flat, I'm going to go up here to the peg that is attached to the A string, and I'm going to turn it up to sharpen the string. Now I have to be careful because not only do you pull the peg up slightly, but you also have to push the peg in so the peg stays. If not, the peg and the string will unwind. I also like to pluck the string right before I pull so I can hear the sound resonate. Let's check again. Still a little bit low. And there's A. Now we'll go over to the D string. The D is also quite low. So I'm going to go up to the peg that's attached to the D string and do the same thing. the D is still a little bit low, an extra tuning tip that violinists use is to push slightly right here in the peg box on the string. If you do so slightly, it will sharpen the string. And I can finish up with the peg. Now we'll go over to the G string. The G string is a little bit sharp, so one extra tip to also use is to slightly pull the string on the side. If you pull too much, the string will break, and this loosens the string. Now we'll go over to the E string. My E is a little bit flat, so since it's really close and I do have a fine tuner on this E string, I'm going to fine tune by turning the tuner up. And now it should be back to being in tune again. Today I demonstrated how to tune the 4 strings on the violin. I gave some background information on the strings of the violin and some extra helpful tips to tuning. I highly encourage you to attend a live in-person classical concert. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra has recently opened up to live in-person concerts again. So imagine yourself sitting in the audience, post-COVID times, and you will be able to really connect with the musicians by appreciating and understanding how such beautiful music is made. Thank you.